It's hard to believe, but we are only about 1 month away from the next iPhone being released, which is shocking to me because I feel like the iPhone 14 was released like yesterday. But yeah, we did about another year around the sun, and in 1 month in September, the iPhone 15 and the iPhone 15 Pro will be a reality. And because we are only 1 month away from the launch of this phone, we know a lot now with a lot of recent leaks and recent rumors about all sorts of new details, including, unfortunately, maybe a price increase on the Pro models this year, so I want to tell you all about that. And let's start off with the iPhone 15 Pro because that is the more exciting phone. I feel like the iPhone 15 is kind of getting like the sloppy seconds of the upgrades here, which I'll explain later. But yeah, the 15 Pro, it's a more exciting phone, and that 15 Pro does start kind of with a new design now. So apparently the 15 Pro is going to be getting a reduction in the overall bezels around the phone, which either means that Apple could maybe put in like a slightly larger screen into this phone, or maybe slightly reduce the physical footprint of the phone itself, keeping the same screen size, but just making it a little bit smaller in the hand and all that stuff. The bigger design feature that I'm more excited for with this new design, though, is Apple switching away from the stainless steel material to a new titanium finish. So titanium is not only stronger than stainless steel, but it is lighter as well. And basically, we kind of saw this recently with the release of the Apple Watch Ultra last year. Apple used titanium as a material because it was a much bigger watch than the regular Apple Watch, and they needed a way to reduce weight. Because if this was like a big stainless steel watch, it would have been pretty heavy. So them using titanium for the material in the Apple Watch Ultra helps save weight. And that's kind of like the same philosophy here with the new iPhone 15 Pro. With the iPhone 14 Plus, I really liked that phone because it had the same screen size as the 14 Pro Max, but it was so much lighter because it used a lighter aluminum material, but it wasn't as premium as the stainless steel on the 14 Pro. So I hope we get a nice happy middle ground here. We get the stronger titanium finish. It's still gonna feel and look premium, but it's gonna be much lighter. It's gonna be a much more comfortable phone to hold. So that's probably like the biggest upgrade I'm looking forward to because I don't know, I always feel like the Pro series of phones are just a little bit too heavy. And yeah, I do lift, bro, so don't even go in the comments say you gotta lift more weights. I'll outlift you any day of the week. Another upgrade that I'm personally excited for is bigger battery capacities in every iPhone model this year. And Apple, usually when it comes to battery capacity, is usually behind their Android counterparts. One of the reasons why Apple has good battery life is because their processors are so efficient, but like the actual battery size in the phones is usually smaller than a lot of the flagship Android phones out there. So Apple increasing the battery capacity this year and then hitting us with a double whammy with a 3nm A17 chip in the Pro models, I think is going to lead to really great battery life. Like I use my 14 Pro all the time for taking pictures and videos, and no matter how big these batteries get, like it gets better like year over year, but like when you're shooting all day on an iPhone, it drains the battery like crazy, especially if you're doing like 4K 60. So if they can get another hour or like 2 or 3 hours of battery life increase inside of the phones this year, that is going to make me really happy. What's going to make a lot of people even happier, I guess, if you're like a tech nerd like me, is Apple's switch over from the Lightning port. They're removing the Lightning port to USB-C. So this has been a long time coming. Apparently, like regulations in the European Union is basically forcing Apple at this point to switch over to USB-C. But I feel like it's something they need to do. Before, when we weren't using our phones as much for like offloading video for like pro stuff, or having like these giant raw files with the 48 megapixel Pro, I thought Lightning was fine. It's like, okay, it's a charging port. We have wireless charging. It's not a big deal if this phone doesn't get USB-C. But now that I am shooting so much video on the iPhone using this 48 megapixel camera, if I want to use ProRes, it is a pain in the butt to get all those files off through AirDrop. AirDrop's great if you have to, send off like a couple of files or one file, but when you're sending multiple large files, it takes so long. It slows down my production, which is a shame because the iPhone is so versatile at using it for filming. I use it all the time in my videos now for when I'm like out and about. Like I don't want to bring a big camera. I'll bring my iPhone and I think the quality looks fantastic on it. The big problem, though, when shooting with it, compared to my big camera, though, is when it comes time to send those files into Final Cut Pro, it takes forever. So I really hope that we get the USB-C port with faster data transfer rates on here. What I really want is a Thunderbolt-capable USB-C port, especially on the Pro model, so we get super fast data transfer speeds, and that would make me really, really happy. And I'm sure most people are just going to be happy because now they can charge every device with one cable, which is also good, too. Some more interesting stuff is apparently that a really recent leak is that in iOS 17, apparently it's leaked the code that there is confirmation that an action button is coming on the 15 Pro, and this action button is basically going to replace the mute switch. Now, what it looks like you're going to be able to do is map that action button to shortcuts. So kind of very similar to how the action button works on the Apple Watch Ultra. You can set it to like, you press it and then like a stopwatch comes up or all that stuff, right? So I think on the iPhone though, I think it's probably going to be used the most, and this is what I'm planning to use it for, is to quickly launch the camera, right? You have a dedicated camera button, you press it, the camera launches, and you can take pictures with that button as well. Of course, obviously there's gonna be other things you can map it to. So other use cases might be the flashlight. I think that's a good one. Stopwatch like the Apple Watch, right? And probably you could still retain the mute functions if you really like the mute switch. As for an exclusive color this year, it looks like Apple is settling on crimson red, although there were earlier rumors that we weren't gonna get a red color and it was gonna be more of like a pale blue color that we've kind of seen before. I don't know how to feel about these rumors. I feel like the color rumors on iPhones aren't always accurate. I remember for a long time, people were predicting a bronze iPhone that never happened. So I'm a little skeptical on this crimson red color, especially in the renders I've seen it in. I think it looks pretty bad, but Apple has made nice looking red phones in the past. They would be capable of doing it on a 15 Pro, so maybe it will be a thing. Now, the other thing about the 15 Pro is the camera system, right? I think that's probably the number one reason why people upgrade their phones is to get a better camera. And last year we got a really big upgrade moving from 12 megapixels to 48 megapixels. This year doesn't sound as big of an upgrade at first glance because apparently Apple is retaining the 48 megapixel camera system, so you're not getting an increase in resolution. And the other features that are kind of rumored for this are, it's hard to judge right now. So basically, leaks are saying that we might get a larger camera sensor in the 15 Pro, which would allow in more light, obviously lead to better photos. But I think the big rumor for the camera system this year is moving up in the zoom range. So right now we have a 3x zoom, and the 15 Pro is rumored to move that up to a 5x or a 6x zoom, which I think is going to be really good because right now I feel like the 3x is kind of redundant ever since they introduced the 48 megapixel camera system because you can now crop into the 2x mode, which almost gives you that same reach as the 3x. So it's a little redundant. Like if you're gonna have a dedicated zoom lens on it, make it bigger. The 2x can make up for that older 3x range if you really needed it to. And because Apple is gonna have a new A17 chip in the Pro models, I am sure there's going to be some new processing features that the camera can take advantage of. So expect to see some updates to the computational photography models because of the faster A17 chip. Apple seems really reliant on camera upgrades these days based on the power of that chip. But here's the bad news. It's not all good news, right? You're hearing all this news like, good, oh, that's good. New upgrade, new upgrade. There's bad news. There's gonna be a price increase this year on the Pro models, technically. So the starting price on the Pro models is gonna move up $100 on each model. So for the iPhone 15 Pro, that's gonna be $1,099. And then for the iPhone 15 Pro Max, that's gonna be $1,199. Now, I'm saying it's technically a price increase because apparently Apple is going to increase the starting storage on it. So if you look at the old iPhone 14 Pro, it starts with 128 gigabytes. This new 15 Pro is gonna start with 256 gigabytes. And if you paid for the upgrade to 256 gigabytes on the 14 Pro, that would give you the same starting price as what the 15 Pro is rumored to start at. So yes, it is an increase in the price because you can't buy that lower tier model anymore. Some people don't need all that storage. But ultimately, I think it's a good thing because people who are buying these Pro phones are probably using a little bit more storage than 128 gigabytes. And even on those older Pro phones on the 128 gigabyte models, they limited features. Like you could only shoot ProRes video at 1080p and not 4K because there just wasn't enough space, I guess, inside of the phone. So yeah, I think it's ultimately a good move that they're moving the starting storage up. But in a way, it is like, okay, well, you can't get that cheaper Pro model anymore. But I do think it's gonna actually help sell those normal iPhone models because now it's gonna be a $300 price difference between the normal iPhone 15 and the iPhone 15 Pro. Before it was only a $200 price increase and most people are just like, I'm gonna buy the Pro model. It's only $200 more, especially if you're buying the Plus model of the 14 last year, it was only $100 more to upgrade to a Pro, so why not? Speaking of the regular 15 models, they are getting some nice upgrades compared to the regular 14. So the regular 14 had the old design last year, it kept the notch. That is no longer the case. The iPhone 15 will be getting the new dynamic island design, and it will be getting a lot of features that the 14 Pro had. So it's gonna get that same A16 chip that the 14 Pro had. It is no longer, the regular iPhones are no longer getting the latest chip. So the A17 exclusive to the Pro, but A16 coming to the normal phones. And then also that 48 megapixel camera system is also coming over to the regular iPhones this year. And I think that is really good because the regular iPhones aren't going to get the zoom lens. But like I said before, that 48 megapixel sensor is capable of that new 2x mode. So this is kind of like the first time the regular iPhone models are going to have a better extended zoom range, which I think is going to be great for the camera. And obviously you get all the other features of the 48 megapixel camera system too. So that's all good for the normal phones. And then there's going to be new features too, right? You're going to get the action button. You're going to be getting USB-C. So there's things to like about the iPhone 15. And apparently it's going to come in a new green color as well. And it's going to keep the same price. So $799 starting for the iPhone 15, $899 for the iPhone 15 Plus. Now, let's talk about release dates, right? So I think I can pretty much nail down the release date here with some educated guessing. So I think the Apple event is going to take place on September 12th because Tuesday is a very popular day for Apple events. And then the previous week, that Monday is Labor Day. I don't think Apple's going to hold an event on the Tuesday after Labor Day. Then iPhone 15 and 15 Pro pre-orders will take place that Friday, which would be September 15th. And then the official release date of the iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Pro will be on September 22nd, which is the next Friday after that. So that's when you can actually get the phone shipped to your house or you can pick them up at the store. But yeah, that is basically all the new details about the iPhone 15, including what I think is going to be the release date and also the new pricing structure for this lineup. So let me know in the comments below, do you plan on getting a new iPhone 15 or an iPhone 15 Pro? Let me know what model you're planning on getting and what is your favorite rumored feature. Also, if you like this video, make sure you give me a like. If you want to see more, make sure you're subscribed. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I think you're probably going to be seeing a lot more of this face because we're only a month away from the next Apple event. So sorry that you gotta see more of me, but it is what it is. So I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.